What's going on, guys? Oh my, Godzilla back here with a very exciting Godzilla figure review. Guys, today we have from HIYA Toys in their Exquisite basic line from Godzilla 2014, the movie that kicked off the MonsterVerse we know and love today. We have the female MUTO figure. I think she looks absolutely incredible. They did an amazing job with her. The sculpt, the detail, the paint, everything is top-notch, as is expected from HIYA Toys. Guys, I cannot wait to take a better look at this figure with you guys. Without further ado, let's jump right in. First things first, we have to take a look at this packaging from HIYA Toys. This is one of their best. They totally captured the essence of the, kind of the original posters from Godzilla 2014, even down to the detail of this exact image, with the guys with the smoke. Awesome. There's kind of where they'd be skydive jumping in from. Kind of another great look at the skyline there. Another look at the side of the box. The other side of the box. Back of the box, pretty standard for HIYA Toys, just an image of the figure, and then kind of their usual goodies. Bottom of the box, and then the top of the box, just everything. But I really just love how reminiscent of the poster this is, especially with the MonsterVerse and this movie and MUTO, everything being 10 years old right now. Really just hits home, really delivers. I really love what they did with this packaging. But that is not exactly why you are here. Let us jump into the figure. Here she is, the female MUTO from Godzilla 2014, the big bad of the movie. She is very gorgeous, guys. I just want to take a start and look at the paint and detail and whatnot. So starting with those back legs, kind of her little hoof-looking feet, looks great. The paint and detail is awesome. We have kind of a mix, just kind of the gray and brownish paint, but you can even see some kind of, if you look really closely and kind of here, especially kind of coming throughout this part of the thigh, we do have touches of that red coming through. So that really hits, definitely looks great. Looking up the back of the leg, it looks really nice. Body looks good. Everything is just, the detail and the sculpt is just phenomenal. You could just look, and I mean, this figure's kind of hard to point out individual pieces of, just because she's so, she's got so many limbs and so many moving, parts moving in there. But I'm just going to let you guys take a peek at everything in there. There's the pregnant belly. It is not kind of glowing as we see it at some parts of the film, so we will see, as my buddy Shin, RobJira pointed out, we'll see if we get a pregnancy glow female MUTO figure. That would be pretty entertaining. Inside the arms here, you can again see some kind of more of those reddish streaks, kind of reminiscent of one of HIYA's other Godzilla figures, where you just kind of see slight undertones of a different color in there. And then her face is absolutely gorgeous. I think they did an amazing job getting the detail of her face. The long red eye, mouth in there, detail and texture inside the mouth. Top of the mouth even has some. Definitely looks great there. Top of the head looks good. The kind of underside of the head, those little frilly bits look great. The back of the back looks good. Guys, I just really love the detail that went into this figure. It's very good. One of HIYA's best, I think, just in terms of raw detail. Really exciting to see them kind of cooking at this level. Such a consistent timeline here. So definitely a very impressive figure to just look at. And let's jump into some articulation. So just looking at this figure, I'm sure you can tell there is a ton of articulation in here. We'll start with this back leg. The foot does kind of have some pointing and flexing to do. It doesn't really rotate that much, but that's okay. The back leg, kind of at this, who knows MUTO anatomy, I don't know, but this joint does have some swivel there, and it also has the bending. I would definitely say with your HIYA Toys figures, make sure when you're especially early, this guy's, she's fresh out of the box as well for me. So make sure you're being very careful with the bending of these joints because they feel a little tight, so just go slow. You can get some bend out of this back leg, as well as some swivel at kind of the hip, for lack of a better term. Up and down looks good, and you do have some of that in and out hinge on there as well. So very good posability just on the leg. That gives us good articulation points all up the kind of the back leg here. Jumping up to the front, I guess, we'll start with the front, the two big front arms, which do have articulation. You can see how we have this one kind of posed this way, and this one a little more down. So even this little hook claw thing has articulation. Very cool there. These totally swivel, so you can kind of get her kind of posed with that down on the ground, or you can kind of flip this and have her kind of with it up. Totally posable. This is kind of how she more walks on him in the movie, obviously, down here like this. But so that one piece has good articulation. Then moving up, obviously we saw this piece does swivel and it bends. At kind of elbow 1. Elbow 2 also straight, kind of comes in, swivels as well, 360, so huge posability on these arms. And then the shoulder is going to have, a ball joint for this rotation as well as swivel rotation. So totally posable on these front arms. The kind of back set of arms is going to be very similar. This kind of latch joint here that attaches in, going to have some of that swivel you can see there, as well as, or that has the side-to-side movement as well as the swivel, excuse me. Then this next joint, also going to have some movement, as well as some swivel. Get the 360 out of that. At the elbow piece, or whatever you want to call it again, you're going to have that back and forth, as well as the swivel. And then the second set of hooks is also going to have a movement. So that takes care of the second set of arms. And then her most inner set of arms, articulation again on these. At the kind of where they attach, kind of at the shoulder, they do have some of this guy, and some joint movement kind of on the swivel there. And then the second elbow kind of wrist thing is going to have 360 and up and down. So these are totally posable as well. You can kind of go out with them. You can really come in with them. You can go whatever you want. These are super posable. Checking out the head, we do have mouth articulation. It can kind of shut about so. You can still kind of see, it doesn't close all the way. You can kind of see through the back part, but it does open. The tongue, it doesn't seem to articulate. You can kind of move it, but it just kind of resets itself for the most part. So it doesn't really seem like it's on much of a joint, although I could be wrong and mine just kind of, but it definitely kind of seems to just come back down to that center part. But then the head, like I showed you earlier when we were checking out the detail, goes kind of from a downward look, and you can see this whole frilly bit, and then the upward look, and that whole frilly bit just disappears inside her body. So really unique what they did on that piece of articulation. Really cool. And then the most surprising piece of articulation for me, guys, was definitely the fact that she has a little bit torso articulation. This moves pretty darn good here, and then just a tiny bit swivels. So she gets a little bit of a crunch there, but really good swiveling at the hip, or at the midsection there. So really good posability out of this thing. She definitely takes some messing with if you want to get her in good poses, just because all the arms, and you got to be careful. You don't want any of these arms bend in the wrong direction and snapping. But one of my favorite poses with the MUTO is to have one of the front arms down, one of the secondary arms down, kind of this guy out to the side, and then one of these out here. That's how I pose my Bandai Premium MUTO, which we will compare her to in just a moment as we get into comparisons. So before we get into the big comparison for me, which is her against the Bandai Premium version of herself, I want to get her compared to a couple of other Godzilla figures. So first up is the SH Monster Arts Godzilla 2014. Pretty decent scaling. I think she's probably supposed to be a little bit bigger, but the scaling is actually not too bad for me. I don't think they scale badly at all. She could definitely put up a fight against this guy. I definitely would love to see HIYA Toys give us the male MUTO also. Love to see the set of these two. But I think this scaling works okay for me. It's not too bad. So there is the SH Monster Arts Godzilla 2014 against our new HIYA Toys MUTO. Here is HIYA Toys Godzilla Evolved. This is just the most recent HIYA Toys figure I have on the shelf for Godzilla. We do not yet have the Godzilla 2014 from HIYA Toys. That is announced coming later this year. We do not have it yet, and they have confirmed that he will be kind of more in scale with the MUTO, so smaller than we have here. So I'm definitely excited to have that new figure so we can really have a Godzilla 2014 with the old school 2014 spines in scale with our female MUTO. So that's definitely very exciting. But there is the Godzilla Evolved HIYA Toys figure. I just wanted to quickly show her off next to Godzilla and MUTO, the male MUTO from 2014. These are just the Bandai Movie Monster series. Obviously, we never saw a Movie Monster series version of the female MUTO. Definitely unfortunate. I wish we got one. Maybe we still will. The door for me is still open. Fingers crossed on that. But here's how. So obviously, these aren't going to scale quite well because the male MUTO is significantly smaller than her, and here, she's basically the same size as him. But the scaling for Godzilla is not terrible. A little off, but and obviously, the style of the figure is totally off. The HIYA Toys is very realistic, and the Movie Monster series are just a little less than that. But there is the scaling with a couple of Movie Monster series figures. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you have all been waiting for. The HIYA Toys female MUTO compared size-wise up against the Bandai Premium MUTO. So obviously she's going to be way bigger, definitely in a bigger scaling than our HIYA Toys one is. That's fine, size is not everything, but I definitely wanted to go ahead and show that off. Before I do a quick dive into the differences between these two, I really wanted to show the male MUTO from that Bandai Premium set next to her, He's, of course, deciding that he doesn't want to really stand. But there is the male MUTO in size comparison to our female MUTO. Again, not really an accurate size comparison because the male MUTO is supposed to be fairly smaller than she is. You can see kind of how the male MUTO stacks up against the female MUTO in the Bandai Premium set, which I think is fairly well scaled. So obviously, different scalings. We'll get the male MUTO out of here and then take a better look at our two female MUTOs. So here are our two MUTOs, HIYA Toys over on the left and Bandai Premium over on the right. I'm not going to get too crazy into these two figures and their differences because I think I'm going to do a full video on the differences between these two MUTOs in a little while. So stay tuned for a video and let me know in the comments if you want to see that video, really getting in and comparing all of the different aspects of these two figures. But just for starters, I will go out and go ahead and say that the Bandai Premium, you can tell, does not really have the articulation that the HIYA Toys does. HIYA Toys has, articulation on every single joint, whereas the Bandai Premium, no articulation at kind of the knuckle or the elbow or the, anything. They really just kind of where we're attached to the body. So we do get some posability out of it. She can go down on all fours, she can lift a leg, she can do whatever. These back legs do rotate as well. The head is fixed. Jaw is fixed on the Bandai Premium again. The inner arms, let's see if we can get these out of the way so you can take a little bit of a look at them. The inner arms are also fixed on the Bandai Premium. The legs are posable, so you can get some movement out of the legs. And guys, do not get me wrong for a second. This Bandai Premium MUTO set is one of my favorite things in my collection. I really, really love it. So not trying to throw any shade to it. It's okay with me that the articulation is not as good as HIYA Toys because Bandai just doesn't go for that type of thing. That's not their bread and butter. That is HIYA Toys bread and butter. That said, this figure on HIYA Toys was HIYA Toys regular price, like $50, and this Bandai Premium set was expensive when I bought it new, and now if you want to get it secondhand, that's the only way to get it now, it is quite expensive. But guys, I will go ahead and say, I did a whole video on this set, but I really love this set. Check out the face, really gorgeous. I think they just did a great job on the face. Let's kind of see if we can squeeze this other MUTO's face in there. We're going to have to move some arms, do a whole bunch of stuff. If you look at the faces kind of side by side, I really think Bandai did a better job just kind of on the teeth and the face sculpt. Obviously, they had a bit of an edge because it's a little bit bigger, so you have a little bit more to work with. You can kind of get in and kind of nitty-gritty with the details. But I think the face sculpt for me, Bandai takes the cake. But obviously, HIYA Toys is very exceptional as well. I love the color palette of HIYA Toys. I like how it's a little darker. It was always a little interesting how gray and kind of whitish almost the Bandai was. So there's just kind of a little something there. But guys, that's all about how I have to say in this quick comparison. But stay tuned and let me know if you want me to do a video really getting in and comparing the two figures in terms of everything else, getting in there and doing piece-by-piece detailed comparisons. We will go ahead and get that done at some point for the channel. But thank you, Bandai Premium MUTO, for cameoing in this video, and we'll go back to focusing on our HIYA Toys. So ladies and gentlemen, this has basically been all I have to say about the HIYA Toys female MUTO from Godzilla 2014. Happy 10-year anniversary to the MUTO and the movie. I think MUTO definitely is kind of a slept-on titan. I'm really glad HIYA Toys is getting in there, giving her some love. I hope we get the male version. Hopefully it's kind of the same amazing standard this one is. I'm sure it would be. HIYA Toys does nothing really to offend me, so I'm sure that the male MUTO would be gorgeous as well. He'd be pretty tiny though. If you look at the size of this, I'm thinking the Godzilla is going to be significantly smaller. Like if we think that it's going to be in scale with this, and we take a look at how big this Godzilla is, I think they're going to come down in size. I mean, we have the official size of Godzilla 2014 from HIYA Toys, but to just kind of eyeballing it, I think he was a little shorter. So it'll probably be in this ballpark, maybe half a head shorter. So I'm definitely interested to see that, but that'll definitely set up the male MUTO to be quite small, which is fine. It'll just be very interesting to see those two, and I cannot wait to kind of have those two on the shelf together with the 2014. I think they'd look like a gorgeous trio. That would be very exciting to see, and kind of the first time we've had a really good set of all three of them. Obviously, the Bandai Premium set gave us the two MUTOs, but we don't really have a Bandai Premium Godzilla 2014 to go with it, unless you count the SH MonsterVerse, which scales pretty well. But I definitely digress and just hope we get HIYA Toys giving us all three of those. I would be shocked if we don't at some point get all three of them. Why would they not give us the trio? But guys, let me know your thoughts on the female MUTO from HIYA Toys in the comment section below. Do you have one? Do you plan on picking it up, or is yours on the way? Definitely excited for this. Hope you guys are enjoying your female MUTO as much as I am. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you in the next one.